Oh, shit! No!
Some people, damn shit.
Tim! Get!
Whoa! Ei, fă cu noi. Să-mi ba pula. Dai mic.
The line between a thrill-seeking adventure and a tragedy is terrifyingly thin. From a claustrophobic nightmare deep inside a narrow cave, to a live stream capturing a climber's final mistake on Mount Fuji. When nature turns violent, would you actually be able to survive? Tommy is a dedicated mountain biking creator whose content centers around downhill riding and trail challenges. His videos cover a wide range of terrain, from manageable paths to more technical descents, always driven by a clear passion for the sport. In March 2025, Tommy joins a group of friends for a fast downhill ride on a small mountain trail. As they pick up speed, the risk increases. In environments like this, a single mistake can quickly turn serious, and that's exactly what happens. The group slows at a sharp corner that looks both difficult and tempting. Riders take turns attempting it. The first rider clears the corner without issue. The next rider follows with confidence but misjudges his speed, losing control and sliding into a dangerous section of the trail.
Here, I'll go.
Oh, shit! No! No!
He kept going.
No!
I'm good.
Are you good?
Daniel,
I'm good.
are you sure?
Yeah. Where's my bike?
It's fine, your bike's fine, dude.
My GoPro's not. I'm okay, thank God. Look what I just came down. Yeah. I slid down the entire thing.
He landed right there. That's his head.
Yeah.
Or that's his body.
And he held on right here, so I thought he saved
But
himself.
outside, he kept sliding.
Yeah.
Instead of stopping, he continues sliding downhill. He makes brief contact with the terrain, momentarily catching himself, but the slope carries him farther. He slides across a narrow surface before dropping further down, narrowly avoiding a much worse outcome. After the fall, the group decides not to attempt the corner again. They work together to recover the bike, with one person staying below while another carefully climbs up to retrieve it. The rider is extremely fortunate. Despite the severity of the fall, he escapes without broken bones and suffers only minor injuries. Seeing how hazardous the corner truly is, Tommy chooses not to attempt it himself and avoids taking any unnecessary risks. The incident highlights how critical protective gear is during high-speed riding. It's unclear whether the rider hit his head, but most of the impact appeared to be on his back. The crash likely came from speed misjudgment and trail design, not equipment failure. Would you avoid this corner or try again with better preparation? On December 15th, 2025, YouTuber Pasha Brill uploaded one of the most disturbing exploration videos he had ever recorded. Pasha was exploring a mountain range near his hometown, planning to enter a cave he had discovered earlier. From the start, the location felt different from a typical exploration site. The cave appeared extremely narrow, completely dark, and highly claustrophobic. Despite the warning signs, he chose to continue. He entered the cave directly, unaware that this decision would soon put him in serious danger.
The mouth of the cave wasn't that bad, but I knew what was coming would be worse. Then I saw the tunnels. Long, narrow, disappearing into pitch black.
The entrance itself did not seem too threatening, but the conditions worsened deeper inside. The tunnels became long and tight, stretching into total darkness. The fear did not come from the lack of light alone, but from the growing sense that once inside, leaving might not be easy. Ignoring the risks, Pasha continued pushing forward. As he moved deeper into the cave system, the passages narrowed further. Light faded almost completely, and even small mistakes could have severe consequences. Wet clay soaked through his clothing, making every surface slippery. Crawling became more difficult, breathing more strained, and the air felt heavy and unmoving. At one point, he was forced to twist his body into an extreme position just to keep moving. He continued filming to stay focused. Eventually, he reached a small open space, barely large enough to rest for a short time. That is when he noticed several bats nearby, close enough to brush past his face. Though normally not fearful of them, the confined space made the moment deeply unsettling. As he continued, the fear of becoming trapped grew stronger. That fear soon became reality. Pasha Brill became stuck deep inside the cave, completely alone. Panic set in as he struggled to free himself, knowing that a single wrong movement could make the situation worse. After several tense minutes, he managed to push through. However, the danger was not over. Pasha still faced another 5-hour crawl before finally exiting the cave. He emerged cold, exhausted, and shaken, but alive. Later, he described the experience as the most dangerous situation he had ever faced while exploring. Being trapped underground alone is a nightmare that leaves a lasting mark. Do you think careful planning can reduce risks like this? Or are some caves simply too dangerous to explore safely? Tetsu Shiohara was a Japanese live streamer described by former classmates as socially isolated and facing serious personal struggles, including stage 4 colon cancer. He turned to live streaming because his small audience was the only place he felt comfortable connecting with others. Over time, he became fixated on climbing Mount Fuji. After viewers asked to see the mountain in winter, he began a snowy ascent on October 28, 2019. Despite having little experience or proper gear, he climbed far higher than expected, just short of the summit, where everything abruptly changed. As he continued upward, holding the camera and unsure whether he was following the correct route, the situation began to worsen.
そう、なかなか危ないここ。ここが滑って下山する。よし、岩を追っていこう。斜面になっちゃってんだ。この道が埋まってね、半分ね。道合ってるのこれ。なんか相当埋まってんだけど雪で。ここも危ないね。ちょっとね、斜面。
Viewers watching the stream witnessed the fall and immediately contacted authorities. Rescue teams began searching the upper slopes of Mount Fuji the following morning, focusing on the area around the 3,000-meter mark, close to where the live stream appeared to cut off. The search continued for hours, but the high altitude and steep frozen terrain made conditions extremely dangerous for rescue crews. By October 30th, 2 days after the fall, rescuers located a body on the mountain's lower snowfield. The location and timing matched what had been seen on the live stream, although authorities did not immediately confirm the identity. Later circumstances and reporting strongly suggested the remains belonged to the missing climber. No official details were released about his equipment or camera. What remains is a live stream that captured a tragic moment and a dangerous recovery effort in one of Japan's harshest winter environments. Do you think live stream pressure played a role, or was the climb already too risky from the start? Omar Farang-Zin, a 48-year-old Italian from Samarate near Milan, worked as an airport driver during the day, but his real passion was adventure, motorcycles, travel, and exploring the wild. Friends called him Farang, a nickname reflecting both his love for Thailand and his restless, wandering nature. In the summer of 2025, Omar set out on a motorcycle journey across Europe. He traveled through Croatia and Serbia before arriving in Romania, drawn by the dramatic Carpathian Mountains and the famous Transfăgărășan Road, known for its sharp curves and breathtaking scenery. As a nature and wildlife enthusiast, Omar was aware that Romania has the largest brown bear population in the European Union. On July 3rd, near Vădraru Dam, he encountered a mother bear with her cubs. Wanting a closer look, he approached them while filming and attempted to feed the bear, a dangerous action in an area where feeding wildlife is strongly discouraged.
Oh, sta venendo verso di me.
Italian a fost omorât azi dimineață de o ursoaică cu pui pe care a încercat să o hrănească din palmă pe Transfăgărășan. Polițiștii au găsit fotografii care ne arată că victima s-a apropiat nepermis de mult de animale. 4 ori mai mulți urși decât ar fi numărul optim. Pentru că nu mai găsesc mâncare în pădure, sălbăticiunile ies la șosea, unde au învățat să stea la selfie ca să primească hrană.
This recording would become Omar's final video. Tragically, the mother bear, acting to protect her cubs, attacked him. He was mauled and dragged into a steep ravine. His motorcycle was later found abandoned, and rescue teams eventually recovered his body. The incident sent shockwaves through both Italy and Romania, highlighting how unpredictable wildlife encounters can become. Omar's story stands as a painful reminder that while adventure and natural beauty are deeply compelling, respect for wild animals is essential. His passion for exploration continues to resonate, even as his fate warns travelers worldwide about the risks of crossing invisible boundaries in nature. Do you believe clearer warnings and stricter enforcement could reduce tragedies like this? Or does responsibility ultimately rest with personal judgment? On January 8, 2026, Aris Masip went through an experience that forced her to question every decision she had made. She barely escaped with her life. She was skiing at Pic de l'Ortel in Andorra with her dog, in a place she knew very well. She had visited this mountain 7 or 8 times that year, and in the 5 days leading up to the recording, it was already her 3rd run down the same slope. That familiarity gave her a strong sense of safety. She believed nothing serious could happen after repeating the route so many times. But comfort is often when danger becomes most real, when routine causes real risks to be ignored. On that day, she triggered an avalanche.
Sim! Quiet! Sim! Quiet! Chaval! Sim! Quiet! Sim! Uy, chaval! Sim! Sim! Bă, chaval!
She was caught in moving snow with no clear way out, gaining speed as she was carried downhill. Her dog followed close behind, risking his life to stay with her, unaware that the situation could have been fatal for both. In moments like these, loyalty does not disappear, even when survival is uncertain. By what she later described as pure luck, the snow slowed and eventually stopped. Only then did she fully understand how close they had come to losing their lives. She later shared the footage and admitted that returning to the same area repeatedly had convinced her the risk was minimal. Familiar terrain, simple goals, and repeated runs created a false sense of safety, even though conditions had never truly changed. Only afterward did she understand how routine can quietly replace caution, and how close the outcome came to being fatal. Does experience always make situations safer, or can it slowly create an illusion of control? A group of young hikers were walking along a mountain trail when they noticed a pile of large rocks beside the path. Some of them thought it would be fun, and possibly gain attention online, to push the rocks downhill while filming. What looked like a harmless stunt quickly became dangerous.
3.
From one angle, it may not seem serious, but another perspective reveals how risky the situation truly was. It wasn't just one rock that moved. Several others broke loose and rolled down the slope, including one that fell directly toward where one of them had been standing, nearly dragging him along. Fortunately, he managed to stay upright and survived. The incident shows how quickly a moment of excitement can turn into a serious risk. What began as a joke created danger not only for those involved, but for anyone who could have been below. When attention becomes the goal, safety is often ignored. How often do people underestimate real dang? On March 1st, 2024, a chilling piece of heliskiing footage was uploaded to YouTube. The video was shared by a creator known as EVPOW, who was heliskiing with a group of friends in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado. At first, everything appears flawless. The helicopter drop-off, the untouched powder, and the first few meters down the slope create the kind of moment skiers dream about. But only seconds later, the situation turns violent.
Oh. Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, we're okay. You okay? Yeah, he's on the surface, he's okay. His skis are still on his... Alright, buddy?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's fucking wild.
Fuck, dude, you rode that thing too.
Without warning, the slope gives way, and EVPOW is caught in a massive avalanche, carried nearly an entire mile down the mountain at terrifying speed. Fortunately, he manages to deploy his avalanche airbag just in time, a decision that likely saves his life by keeping him closer to the surface instead of being buried. Moments later, his friends rush toward him to check his condition. Against all odds, he survives without any serious injuries. The video stands as a harsh reminder that even when conditions seem perfect, clear skies, fresh powder, and experienced riders, disaster can strike without warning. Would you keep skiing in a place like this after seeing what happened? On April 25, 2015, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Nepal, the strongest in over 80 years, killing nearly 9,000 people and injuring more than 22,000. The destruction spread far beyond cities, reaching even remote areas. That same day, Ratnesh Pandey and others were at Mount Everest base camp, preparing for their climb. A GoPro had been set up to record what was meant to be an unforgettable adventure. Instead, it captured raw, disturbing footage that shows the true power of nature and how little control humans have when it decides to strike.
Net een gigantische aardbeving geweest. Nog bezig. Fuck. This is scary.
I had a place before.
Wait for a minute. Oh my god.
They felt the earthquake and were shaken once it passed. Still trying to process what had happened, the shock distracted them from thinking about what often follows when the ground moves on a mountain covered in snow and ice. Then they looked back.
Have you had an earthquake before?
Whoa, 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 whoa!
An avalanche was tearing down the mountain with a force no one there was ready for. A massive wall of snow, ice, and debris rushed straight toward them. They ran for shelter on instinct, but deep down, they knew they would not make it in time. In those final moments, there was only one option left: brace for impact. Fortunately, the avalanche did not strike the camp directly. It tore through the area with immense force, but it was not a head-on hit, and that small difference changed everything. They had just enough time to take cover as the blast swept through the camp. Their camp was one of many on the mountain, and also one of the luckiest. Other camps were not as fortunate. The avalanche hit them directly, burying everything in its path. Tragically, 19 people lost their lives, and around 50 others were seriously injured. There was nowhere safe to run, and nothing anyone could have done. This is a reminder that nature is always stronger than us. Would you trust yourself to survive something like this? If an earthquake feels intense at ground level, it's hard to imagine how it would feel at the top of a mountain. This footage removes the need to imagine. It comes from a group of climbers ascending the Kitakami Ridge. While they were standing at the peak, a magnitude 4 earthquake struck the area. It was far weaker than the earthquake that hit Nepal, but experiencing even a smaller quake at that altitude is something no one would want to face.
Still. 落ち着けよ。さっちゃん、あんまりね、壁に捕まってると落ちるよ。上、まだ来てるよ。すごい崩れてるよ。ああ、槍のところも煙がね、結構すごいね。まだ揺れてるかな。
Despite its lower strength, the shaking was powerful enough to send rocks breaking loose from the mountaintop. Several of them came crashing down toward the climbers. One rock narrowly missed a person, clearly showing how dangerous the situation had become. At that height, even a single mistake could be fatal. After the shaking stopped, rocks continued to fall, forcing a chilling realization. If a magnitude 4 earthquake could cause this much chaos at the summit, the thought of a stronger one becomes terrifying. In a scenario like that, survival would seem unlikely. Would you keep climbing after this? On March 5th, 2015, a deeply unsettling video was uploaded to YouTube. It was shared by a man named James Mort, who was skiing in the Swiss Alps during the winter of 2015. James and his friends chose to ski off-piste, searching for untouched powder and clean lines. What felt like a routine decision quickly became a moment none of them would forget.
Oh, this is gonna be amazing. Yahoo! Yahoo! Avalanche! Where's James? Where's James? I think he was. think so.
Without warning, an avalanche broke free and surged straight through the group. James was extremely fortunate and managed to stay on top of the snow. One of his friends, however, was not as lucky and was buried almost instantly. The group reacted immediately, knowing that in conditions like this, every second beneath the snow can mean the difference between survival and tragedy.
He's over here. Colin! Take this. I got you, James. Yeah. He's under here. Yeah, that's him.
No, there's nothing.
No, that's his hole, dude.
That's his hole?
Where is he?
Yeah, I feel him. Just there. Just there. I can feel something.
I'm trying to find his head.
It's musky. Yeah, it's musky.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's his helmet.
James?
James!
James?
Yeah, we got him. We know they got you.
We're here. We're here. Breathe.
We're here, dude.
We're here. Breathe. Breathe, man.
You good?
He's getting cold. Okay.
Here, take this. Can't get my helmet off, dude. My hands are fucked.
After several tense minutes of digging, they finally pulled their friend out from deep under the snow. This footage stands as a chilling reminder that even when everything feels calm and controlled, danger can be only a few steps away. If the situation had shifted even slightly, the outcome could have been far worse. Would you take this risk yourself? This next video comes from Andrei, a teenager from Romania. He and his friends were out enjoying themselves, hiking along a trail in Sinaia, when they suddenly came across something they had never encountered before.
Ei, fă cu noi!
6-7?
Să-mi ba pula. Dai mic.
Mâinile sus. Așa.
Da, dar e o problemă mai mare. Dacă te uiți foarte bine, la ăsta e pui. Și de obicei puiul vine cu mama. Acum întrebare, unde e mama?
Speria cu ei, învie să mă gândesc apoi, să moară băieții.
Mie nu-i frică de asta, nu-i frică de măsa. Că dacă vine măsa, ne face aia din două bucăți, ne-a făcut praf pe toți.
Faceți gălăgie, vorbiți. Pic aici. Hai să ne întoarcem o secundă mai în spate și mai stăm și noi 10, 15, 20 minute. Și gata.
One of them mentioned that they knew bears lived in the area, but because it was winter, they assumed the animals would be hibernating. While that is often the case, it is not always true. Bears, especially younger ones, can sometimes leave hibernation during winter if they are underweight or if food is difficult to find. That is what makes winter bear encounters especially dangerous. Bears in these conditions tend to be hungrier, more aggressive, and far less predictable than usual. In this case, the bear they saw appeared to be relatively small. Even so, the group was still concerned that the mother might be nearby. It is difficult to know whether that was likely in this situation, but either way, the encounter was clearly frightening. Although they laughed and joked afterward, the fear was still there. Their voices shook, revealing just how tense and serious those moments really were. Would you feel safe staying on the trail after seeing a bear this close? In early 2022, a deeply disturbing video appeared on YouTube. It was uploaded by a user known as Everest 8,848 meters, who was part of a climbing group on Mount Manaslu in the Himalayas. Manaslu is well known for its unstable weather and extreme avalanche danger. Even so, what this group encountered that day went far beyond the usual risks associated with high-altitude climbing.
Many people dead. My God. My God.
Shit. Some people there. Shit.
As conditions on the mountain rapidly worsened, equipment suddenly began sliding down from higher up the slope. At first, there was confusion and disorder as climbers tried to understand what was happening around them. Moments later, the horrifying reality became clear. Some climbers had not survived. Shortly after, 2 lifeless bodies were seen tumbling down the mountain. Out of respect for those involved, the footage is not shown. However, it remains publicly available. Regardless, this clip stands as one of the darkest and most haunting moments ever captured in mountaineering. Would you still choose to climb a mountain knowing how little control there can be? Wild Frontier is a channel where the creator documents his mountain journeys, sharing extreme climbs and brief looks into his daily life. One video in particular stands out, the one where he hikes up a mountain and decides to camp there overnight. That is the video being focused on here, because during the trip he experienced something that made him deeply uneasy. After hiking toward the mountain, night gradually set in. He pitched his tent and built a fire to stay warm as temperatures dropped. Later that night, around 4 a.m., just as he was close to falling asleep, he was suddenly jolted awake by an unexpected sound.
It's about 10:35 p.m. and I completely regret the decision of wanting to spend the night alone in the mountains. It's too late to go home now because I am not getting out of this tent and hiking my way out in the dark alone. It's pretty cold right now. So I was using my parka as my pillow earlier, but I got too cold, so I put my parka on and I don't have a pillow now, which isn't the most comfy, but at least I'm not freezing to death. Not gonna lie, this was a pretty stupid idea. So it's about 4:15 a.m. I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick this up or not.
He tried to calm himself and return to sleep, but he couldn't. Realizing that a pack of wolves was nearby, all he could do was remain tense and alert, waiting for the first light of morning.
So the howling only lasted for about 15 minutes-ish. They never came anywhere near the tent, but needless to say, I still wasn't able to go back to sleep. I'm just waiting for first light now so I can get out and start packing stuff up. Still pretty cold.
The howling lasted for roughly 15 minutes and never came close to the tent, yet sleep was impossible afterward. When daylight arrived, he packed up and left, and wolves rarely attack humans and likely noticed him long before he realized they were nearby. They never approached, but the sense of danger remained. He was safe in the end. Would you stay overnight knowing wolves were close? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.